Welcome to the Altcoin Hour, your weekly alpha. Yeah, we breaking down the charts, flipping bags, playing smart, from the dips to the moon shots, connecting all the dots. Let's get it. Altcoin Hour.
Right, welcome to the show. How are you guys doing? Hope everybody, another hand clap for Tuesday. The terrible, can I call it terrible Tuesday? Is it too early? It's not looking good, but I think, post clarity, I like to say this because I'll start with this because we're going to be looking at the pros and cons, with the post clarity, how that's going to look for not only altcoins, but, Bitcoins, ETFs, institutional inflow, adoption, right? We're going to look at those pros and cons, and then we're going to look at the actual hypothetical outlook, of an invasion in Iran. What does that look like for not only cryptocurrency, but, world markets and things? Because, the whole thing, a lot of people are calling global recession if this happens. So that's, unfortunately, it's going to affect Bitcoin. Unfortunately, it's going to affect altcoins. It's going to affect growth. Global, TVL, on the DeFi side as well. You're going to see a global market cap shift, and then you're going to see oil go crazy, and then the stock market is going to go crazy. So, and I'm not talking upward. So I think we need to have this conversation because we need to understand what may happen, right? So we don't know, 45, we'll look at what Trump is talking about when it comes to the new, parameters and the new talks, quote unquote talks that apparently are happening. We don't know if they're happening or not. But the reason why I'm bringing this up very, very quickly is because this is going to dictate where we go forward. Welcome to the show, Kruti, 1245. It's going to dictate everything. And it's unfortunate that, war activity, what's going on, over there in that region is basically affecting the whole globe. And I don't think the administration, figured this out. I don't think they had a long-term plan. And we're here. It's happening, and we just got to deal with it. Welcome to the show, LMFG. Can you hear me, brother? I think we got you. It says you're muted, bro.
Yeah, I
there you go. Hand clap to you, brother. Hand clap to you. We're about to jump into this. Welcome to the show, guys and gals. Everybody's coming in. LMFG. Unfortunately, we got to talk about this. We have to talk about the potentials of the invasion and how it's going to affect, everything. And this is what we'll get into all those details in a minute. We're going to jump into the market too, because, there's some swings, that we'll look in some certain sectors, and apparently Bitcoin too as well. LMFG, this is going to affect us now in a hypothetical sense. What are you thinking, man? Like this is what I don't want. I don't want the Clarity Act, market structure bill, all that good language. I don't want this to get passed and then the invasion happens, right? I think everything is going to be muted. I think that's going to fall on deaf ears. It's going to be good for the space, the language, clarity, and all that good stuff. But if that invasion happens, I think it's going to dampen the effects, right? Hopefully I'm wrong, man, but I think it's going to, that, how should I say? That really positive energy that passage could give the space. I think it would hit a brick wall. I mean, talk me off the fence, bro. I don't know.
No, you're 100% correct there. Again, I just hope this is typical Trump shaking the hornet's nest.
Yeah.
And see what he can come up with. And we'll see, My fingers are crossed.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, me too. We'll take a look at the stock market. Liquidations aren't as bad as I thought they would be. But, people are playing those futures markets when it comes to oil. And I was asked earlier, about oil, what to invest in, I don't think I'm going to touch oil right now because it could, you never know, right? Everything can just be done within a couple of days, and then oil goes back down to, $75, and then, there's the other half of that equation. It can go up to 200. Some people are calling $300 oil. I don't know how the market looks with $300 oil. I know how our gas tanks and our pocketbooks are going to look. It's not going to be good. So we're definitely going to get into all of this. I definitely want to get into some news too, because LMFG, we had some safe harbor framework that actually is being rammed through, as Gordon said, headed to the White House. And it has a lot to do with, fundraising for cryptocurrency projects and dev exemptions and things about, along those lines. And I would hope that the Clarity Act can kind of like trail this particular framework into the White House as well. Maybe in a couple of days, maybe in a week. We'll get into that because it's interesting what they've put together. And Paul Atkins seems to be very stoked about it. We'll get into it because I think that's something that everybody's been waiting on. I know a lot of devs are because, you want to make that transition, seamlessly from securities, field to commodities. But what about fundraising? How do you fundraise under this new language that's coming out? So I think they've just released some clarity. So we'll get into it. And then, of course, Trump, we'll get into, his 45-day pause. Did it work? Obviously, it didn't work. Iran is like, you know what? You can shove it up, or you know what? And so we're here, right? We'll talk about what may happen, and we'll get into some new actual wordings and what he's saying now. Because honestly, LMFG, I don't think he's going to bomb anything. I don't think President Trump is that stupid. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't think he's that dumb. I think, like you said, I'm with you, brother. Shaking the hornet's nest, playing a little chess or whatever. He's made some questionable moves, but I think he's been just consulted the wrong way. I think the cabinet is leading him down the wrong, road, if you get what I'm saying. But let's go ahead and get into the market. It's one hell of a swing, brother. One hell of a swing. So you're still looking at a ceiling. I know we had our little projections with Bitcoin. Are you still where you were a couple of months ago? We had some pretty big buys too. We got down to 67 again. Some pretty good buyership right now. But as far as your resistance levels, your floors and your ceilings, are you still there? Did you do some adjustments? Because I know I did, brother.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't get it. I don't know. And then you just seen the stock market. It was down 300, then down to 100. Now it's back to down 150. It's just going crazy.
I mean,
a lot of money moving, a lot of shorts.
It is, bro. Yeah.
It's nuts. I don't know. I stay away from them shorts and the longs, and no way.
It's a dirty game, bro. I mean, you can look. I know you guys see all the red, at the bottom of the screen. That is not really telling the tale. XRP is getting hit hard. Solana's getting hit hard. ADA, getting hit hard. Ether's not doing as bad as I thought it would be. But again, it's Ethereum, right? $68,000 down, almost a 1.10% within a 24-hour period. Volume is going the wrong way, LMFG. We don't want the volume to go in this direction, but we do know, and we absolutely understand why, right? Geopolitics. Now, as far as that 45-day pause, it's not happening. There's a threat. And again, this is what's affecting all the markets. And you talked about the stock market. It's crazy. What's going on there is absolutely nuts. And we're going to get into some more post invasion hypotheticals. And there's some actual examples. You remember the Russia-Ukraine situation? I think Bitcoin went down 6%, bounced back up. But I don't, we'll compare it to that and we'll talk about that. But this is a different beast. This is not Russia and Ukraine. Bitcoin could possibly go down, 8% if we go in full scale. There's a threat to actually bomb. I'm just going to be real with you, LMFG, and the people who are watching, who are going to watch the replay. The potential of the amount of war crimes that are about to be committed is astounding to me. And I think that's what's going to weigh so heavy on the markets. Not just the fact that this is going on, but just the actual temperature of what's happening and what the longevity of the factors, the longevity of the factors, and the longevity that they're going to have, not only on the administration, but the people who are carrying out these orders. LMFG, this could be a long-lasting effect, not only on the country, globally, but on markets. So when I tell you I'm sticking with my $50,000 floor for Bitcoin, I'm going to tell you, I got to adjust it to 45, brother. Because if we go in and if we hit bridges, if we take out infrastructure, energy grids and desalination plants and things like that, those are war crimes. That's not going to look very good for the country. That's going to pull the dollar away. A lot of people are going to go to the yuan. It's going to kill the dollar. All right. And God forbid this happens, but this is my hypothetical. We'll get into the logic here in a little bit. All of that in its entirety is going to send Bitcoin tumbling. Now, we do have the institutional floor, which I think is doing way better than I thought it would be. LMFG, I don't know if you agree with me on that. I feel like this institutional floor, the whales, they're holding this. And they have balls, brother. These institutions, these ETF vehicles, these long-term whales, and I'm not talking about the miners, because a lot of the miners have been selling this whole time. They're just trying to keep the lights on. But the institutions, Sailor, Winklevoss, all these guys, compound with the ETF, floor. I think they're doing a hell of a job, LMFG, keeping this thing above 67 at this point in time. I mean, am I wrong to say that if it was not for the Bitcoin ETF vehicle, we would already be at 50K? What's your take?
Yeah, I agree with that for sure, because there's quite a bit tied up there in the ETFs, so I don't know. We'll see. And like you said, somebody's holding this stuff up, And like I said, you got to realize there's probably so many of these guys that have so many Bitcoins sitting on the side, when they were mining it back in the 14, 15, 16, especially from the Giddy app. I think you got a lot of guys that they got billions of dollars of dry powder, as we call it,
Yeah.
And they don't care. Like you said, they got balls. I said, yeah, they got balls with a big bag of cash.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to tell you, it's getting really crazy because, and everybody is just waiting. We've seen what Trump posted. What's happening in Iran right now has got me worried, bro, because, the markets are teetering. They're kind of waiting on what's going to happen today. Okay, we can go either way. You have a bridge, essentially, that's in Iran that is supposedly Israel is waiting on the go to basically take the infrastructure out completely, all the bridges. Now, the Iranians are actually on this bridge, bro. They're gathering on, I think, a couple of bridges, and they're protesting these people on the bridges. So, hopefully Trump doesn't pull the trigger on this, because if he does, this is going to look really bad. I'm going to show you this out. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You're talking about markets tumbling. We need to really think about this, because I'm all about the markets.
Yes.
I'm all about investing. Did you see that? Yeah, this could,
flags,
bro. This could turn into something extremely ugly. I am not joking. Check this out, brother. Check this out, man. This is what they're doing. This is just you'll see the bridge in a minute. This is a substation here that they're in front of. And let's cut that down a little bit. So LMFG, they're protesting. Obviously, children there as well. These aren't military members. These are citizens. And now here's the nuclear plant. They're protesting in front of the nuclear plant as well. I mean, they're basically human. They're using themselves as human shields to protect this infrastructure.
Hey guys, and I had to bring this up. They don't bring the women out to these things, and they look at all the women.
Exactly. You caught on that too. Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but
when there's protests, all the women are in the houses, guys.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna pause it right here, because this is one of the bridges.
That flag,
You see that, bro? I think we need to double. We need something needs to happen. We need some intervention really quick, because if cooler heads don't prevail, this is good. We're gonna be isolated. If we send, because this is a I just want to speak this into fruition. I'll just say this. I'll just say this. I'm just gonna let that sit right there. We do not need to do this, guys. There has to be a better way, because if this happens, not only global depression, not only this is going to send oil to the roof, it's already pretty much to the ceiling. It's going to crater the markets. And a lot of people's portfolios are wrapped up. You can have a lot of people that are wrapped up. Man, they've drained their 401k already. They don't have a 401k anymore, right? A lot of people are completely drained right now. So they're relying on the portfolios, whether it's stock markets or whether it's in the cryptocurrency market. They're relying on this for retirement, maybe for, take out a loan to, or not take out a loan, but, use it for collateral for a home buying, because you're going to be able to do that. Maybe reinvest it into their 401k if everything subsides. If the market's greater and those portfolios go into the dust, a lot of people are going to be left with nothing, LMFG, no 401k, no crypto or no stock portfolio, all in the dust. A lot of people are jumping into oil. I don't think that's a good idea. Not right now. What's your take on that? Because I'm getting asked that a lot. Which oil stocks? Where should we go? I'm not touching oil right now. Is that, should I?
Yeah,
What's your take?
The drilling companies, the miners, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what you're thinking, right?
Picks and shovels, yeah, because that's not gonna stop. That's gonna explode. You think about all the stuff that has to be done in Venezuela.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Who knows what happens with Cuba? And all the regulations he got rid of here in the United States. Mm-hmm. So it's the equipment manufacturers, and that's the way I would go, because no matter what, that's going to explode.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and here's the caption here, and we'll get back to the market because I want to show you guys what the altcoins is doing. The RSI is looking pretty interesting too. Yesterday, lots of money. People were, it scared me, bro, because I don't know why anyone would throw thousands of dollars into this market right now. It's very dangerous to do that. But here's a caption here: Iranians farm human chains to surround power plants. This is so bad, bro. Let's get back to the market. This is so bad. So if you really, how should I say? Put yourself in a good place. Let's do that. We do have buyership, right? So I want to look at these altcoins, LMFG, because we already know what's going to happen to Bitcoin. I don't think the ETFs, I don't think they're going to go bottom up. I don't think, I don't know. We've seen the private credit. Look at what the private credit markets is doing. They basically halted redemptions. Blue Owl, oh my God. BlackRock is sweating bullets right now. These ETF vehicles, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. They're going to keep the floor. I think we're going to stay above 68 unless the invasion. Now, as far as the invasion, you get these power plants destroyed, bridges go down, people get hurt, ordinary citizens, are unalived. I don't think the institutions, I don't think the ETFs are going to be able to save this thing from cratering all the way to 48. I really don't. And that's what's going to send a ripple across the market. I know this is a really drastic prediction, but if we go in and if we start bombing bridges and nukes, we're going down to 50. Now, what happens to altcoins? I think they go down too, and I think they go down double digits, LMFG. Now, as far as your Ethereums, probably below 1,000. BNB has been hovering over 600. It's been doing pretty decently. Am I wrong to say that BNB seems to be a little insulated here, or kind of unaffected? Have you been checking the motions? I've been observing this coin, man, and it seems to be kind of like in an isolated zone. What's your take on this particular movement right here with Binance's gem?
Yeah, I mean, you push that out to a month or so and check it out.
Yeah,
it's just floating.
Look at that. So we're out here. I took it all the way back. So we'll zoom in from May of last year into May of this year for a year. I mean, you're looking at a pretty good Mount St. Helen right there. You're looking at a mountain, cap right there. But at the same time, you still, it hit an all-time high, right, in September of 2025. I think we got it at what, $1,200. So of course it was going to go down 50%. Yeah, whales that were like millionaires at that point in time. But I would think it would go back down to 200 under the climate. It's still above 600. So we did get some Web3, development there. Obviously CZ's overcast, it's gone. New leadership, things of that nature. New regulatory, relief. I guess we could say that Binance US is beaming. Not a lot of SEC, pressure.
Which I still can't access here in North Carolina.
Yeah, which is bonkers. I don't understand why you can. Yeah,
the senators, it's kind of weird. The state senators, they're clowns.
That's crazy, bro. We got access to it. Texas was like hell no for years. So when you didn't tell me you guys still are blocked, it's kind of crazy.
And so I'm not sure, but didn't they bring in Cardano and they put out Midnight?
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe, right?
Well, look at the Aster situation was a disaster. Aster was a disaster. I know some people still holding it. They bought the dip, so God bless their Aster bags. So you never know, man. But XRP.
Hey, by any chance, did they put USDC up there?
I don't know.
Go check that out. Remember, because they fought, so Binance dropped USDC and Coinbase dropped Binance Chain. You can't get Binance on BNB on Coinbase.
Yeah, I remember that. I thought they was going to bring it back.
I think they're idiots. I would open it up.
Didn't they bring it? I think they brought it back though, bro. I think they brought it back.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I don't no BNB on Coinbase.
I think they brought it back. I could be wrong, but I think they brought it back. I know because they brought back a couple of more. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong.
They'd be idiots if they don't.
Let me check it. I'm gonna check it right now. That's an interesting question. Hold on. I could have swore they brought it back. Let me see here. It's telling me I can win 2 BTC. A bunch of bullshit right there. I never win. Yeah, they brought it back, bro. You can now trade and buy and sell BNB. So yeah, they brought it back.
Okay, there you go. I knew I haven't bothered looking.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I love Coinbase. I've had no problems with Coinbase, man. That's my offer. It's my own round. I'm still getting yield. Cross my fingers. We don't lose that. And I caught that monad off the launcher. So I'm pretty happy with Coinbase. I can't lie. I tell you guys the truth. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, I hate Coinbase. Go to hell. Death to Coinbase. No, I'm not gonna say that. I wish Coinbase well. But XRP, brother. This XRP situation. We're moving to XRP because XRP losses are forcing late buyers out, turning every bounce into a new sell zone. This is the actual headline that I saw in this article today. XRP's underwater late buyers. What's going on, Jay? What's going on, brother? The late buyers dump to stop the pain while the token's early holders can still trim into strength. Now, listen, it depends on where you bought, right? MFG. I mean, let's just talk about this, in proper sense. If you bought in the early stages, well below where this price is, you're still laughing all the way to the bank. So, but the late buyers, if you bought the, up top, yeah, you're sweating. Your balls are sweating. And this is why we tell you, do not buy at the top. Am I right, LMFG? You don't buy, especially the blue chips that are well into the billions of market caps. Don't buy at the top.
Right. But you got to realize a lot of people are looking at, hey, I better get into this.
FOMO. Yeah, that FOMO, bro.
Yeah, because they see it going, and $2, it hit 3 and change, didn't it? XRP.
Yeah, it did. Well, I don't think it got that far, did it? I think I missed that. Hold on.
I sold 300 of them. I pulled $1,000 off.
Check this out.
I think.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It sure did. It sure did. Wow. I missed that. It actually got up to $3 and what? Well, no, that's a wick. So we're not going to take that. So 302, yeah.
Yeah, that was just a little tiny spike for
right.
2 minutes.
Wow. Yeah, and you seen this huge crater too. Jesus. Yeah, you're right, bro. I guess I missed that. Listen, I would have sold too. If I'd have bought it at what was the all-time low? XRP all-time low is what? Let's see here. Oh, wow. That was like 2 zeros. Yeah, it was 2 zeros. This is back in 2014. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
When they first came out. And then,
right.
Yeah, I accumulated mine down to like 60-something cents. So I'm a happy camper, and I got a decent bag. So,
bro, think about this. That was a hell of a hold. Let's say you bought it 2014 or 2016, whatever. You bought it 2 zeros, or 1 cent. But the 2 zeros, my God, those guys are millionaires. And if you held all the way to $3, are you still gonna hold? Hell no. If you didn't, you would be a complete imbecile. You'd be an idiot not to sell. That's what I'm saying. I never get mad when people sell. You have to sell. You have to have some type of exit plan. You can't hold these coins forever. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have some type of exit plan. Now, I know people who converted their XRP to RLUSD, and they're getting some really good yield right now. That was smart. So if you sold at $3 and you bought it 50 cents, you know, or even 80 cents, and you converted that into RLUSD, you're winning right now. You're doing great. Or maybe you just bought a house or whatever. Because, you know, a lot of Solana holders, when Solana, you know, breached $100, you know, they sold, and then they were posting their cars, Lambos, and you remember that? Everybody was posting that, you know, I bought my mom a house, which is great. But yeah, you know, that's the Solana millionaires. They were very young too. I mean, we were talking about, you know, people in their early 20s, and so it was really cool. But I guarantee a lot of them are broke right now because they didn't know what to do with that money. They kind of, you know, they did the wrong things with the money. But I digress from that. Financial literacy, literacy, what the hell is that? Financial literacy is very important, guys, that you practice proper financial literacy. Know what to do with your money, especially when you come into some big money. You don't want to come into the big money and then it's gone in a couple of months. That can send you down a rabbit hole mentally. you may not come back from. So, you know, if you're making long money in crypto, you know, you need to get a plan together to where you can keep it going. You don't want to just blow that, you know, because it's very special money. I always say that, you know, you're making it big in crypto. That's special money. You're lucky because this is a casino at this point in time. It's kind of, you know, changing and morphing into legitimacy. But if you're making long money, don't blow it. You know, compile it, stack it up, you know, get some yield, you know, make that money, allow that money to make more money for you. So, you know, that's how you play her. Am I right, LMFG? Am I just talking out my ass? I mean, am I saying something worth listening to? You know, you can't afford to blow money these days, and just, you know, you got to be smart, especially with this crypto money.
Yeah, hey, you know me, brother. I learned. I'm getting older here. Live below your means.
Absolutely.
Be careful where you put your money.
The below your means. You know, these young ones, they don't like that. They don't like that term.
No way. No, my son.
What do you mean below my means? No.
My son just spent $1,000 on this. He upgraded his PlayStation. He goes, I could get $500 for my old one. And he's like, you got to see the graphics, because he got the 4K monitor, whatever, gaming monitor.
He's got the good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, these young ones, man, especially Gen Zers, man. You think they're saving money? Hell no.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good though, because he did even ask me. He goes, "What about these IRAs? I get a Roth IRA or a regular one?" He doesn't have me at work, and so he's thinking.
Yeah, at least he's thinking. You know, yeah, it's crazy. It's so critical to try to build a nest egg right now. You know, but again, no one's saving right now, and I get it. You know, some people can't. You know. Put back what you can. And if you're making some long meme money, don't leave it in the wallet. Don't buy another meme after you hit. I've seen people hit 25K on a meme, and then they'll forward that into another meme to try to double it, and they lose it all. And then they're on Twitter, F the devs, pump.fund, screw memes. Well, you kind of screwed yourself because you didn't cash out. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to get, because I was a hardcore DJing for some years. And I lost a ton of money. And I learned my lesson real quick. Solana, $80. Solana bought a company today, bro. Did you know that? They're going heavy on a, privacy protocol. And they actually invested and acquired a pretty decent platform. And they're bringing it in. We might talk about it here in a little bit after I get through the countdown. Again, XRP, a lot of buyers at the top. They're crying profusely. They're screaming, It is what it is when you buy at the top. Just be careful, guys. Don't be that guy. Don't be that gal that's buying at the top because your favorite influencer told you to get in because the bull market is coming. I see this so much of these influencers, man. It's crazy. I see it. I see the videos every day. It's like, bull run coming, altcoin season coming. This is what they're not telling you. God bless you guys. Tron, 31 cents. It just keeps hovering, I don't know anybody that uses the platform. Do you know anybody that uses Sun Protocol? LMFG? I don't know anybody that uses that. So I don't know. I know the stablecoin yield is crazy, double digits.
Right. No, not myself, but I believe there's a lot of traffic on Tron with
very much. very much so.
Video and stuff, and
gaming too is pretty big on that.
Gaming is real cheap. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's fairly decent from my understandings. I haven't dived into it, so. And it's late, and this is one that's always been held up, and like we've said, it's probably Justin himself, you know.
Yeah, but he owns like 20% of that. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I mean, you know, I had a talk with a gentleman. He was like, "Well, he built it, so he can, you know, it's his baby. He built it. We didn't build it by himself, but I'm just saying he's like the principal. He's the lead. I get it, you know. It's his platform. I still don't agree. I'm gonna tell you, if it was I wouldn't do that to the users and to the developers and to the investors. There was no way I would do that. I wouldn't feel right doing that. Holding 23%. I think he owes, 23. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I think he owns a lot of that particular principal token, and you know, I wouldn't do that. That's shiesty, but that's just my opinion. And I don't know if his wallet, World Liberty Finance wallet, did they finally unfreeze that wallet? Is it still froze? I need to look into that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's crazy what the Trumps did to his wallet. You know, just because he did he did a test transaction, and it scared the shit out of the Trumps. He kind of just moved a little bit of his bag, you know, a couple of cents. What was it? A couple of bucks. He said he was quote unquote testing. Well, the test got his entire wallet frozen. At least that's the story. But let's move on. Dogecoin, $9. I'm sorry. Wow, that would be awesome. 9 cents, right? Dogecoin trying to get back up to 10 cents. I don't think we're ever going to see this implemented into X. And in fact, Elon said that's not going to happen. Now, we do have crypto available. You can actually, you know, receive payment in crypto now. So I don't know what he has against Doge being on the platform. I remember he put the logo on the platform, you know, a year ago. So, but all of a sudden he's standoffish. He's like, nah, we don't, you know. We're going to let people do the crypto thing. You know what I'm saying? You can do the Cash App thing and things of that nature, but we're not going to co-sign. We're not going to just put our label on a specific coin, and we're definitely not going to launch our own coin. This is what he said a couple of years ago. So it is what it is. Hyperliquid, $36. Looking, this is a great perk platform. I think this thing made so much money last year. The Hyperliquid platform, I think Pump made the most, but it was right up on the Pump.fund. And we know about Pump. That doesn't surprise anybody. That Pump.fund made the most money last year. But Hyperliquid was right there. A lot of the perp exchanges were like number 2 as a group when it comes to revenue, which is crazy. And I don't understand why Aster can't move LMFG. If you have the rest of them, including Hype, just doing great, why is Aster doing so poorly? What do you think? What's your take on that? Is it just the competition? You can't get the market share? Can't get a little piece of it? I don't know.
I haven't really dived into it at all. Is there any issues with developers and stuff, or do they have any?
Yeah, there's a lot of issues there. There's a lot of issues. I think CZ owns a gargantuan amount of that Aster coin. Yeah, well, you know, the Binance affiliation, I think, has a lot to do with it. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. ADA, you talked about Knight earlier. You're real stoked on Knight. The Cardano ADA situation, it's borderline, I guess. It's kind of in the middle, even kill in the gray when it comes to sentiment. You know, Hoskinson, he's talking a lot about the Clarity Act recently. He doesn't talk a lot about ADA. He did mention Knight. Go ahead, brother, because this is your lane right here. I want to ask you about this. So any new news when it comes to Cardano?
Oh, no, I wanted to just say, because it's funny that you brought up Aster, because I just seen the thing. I put the link up there. Eric Trump just said that they're doing something with Aster.
Oh my God.
With the USD one.
You see what I'm saying? It just conflicts all over the place. If I'm a Trumper, if I'm Eric, or, you know, any of the Trumpers, that I'm not really talking, I'm not really saying anything, I'm not tweeting, I'm very quiet. You know, I'm moving in silence right now. I'm not announcing anything. I'm not pumping ETH, Bitcoin, nothing. I'm not saying anything about World Liberty Finance. I'm not saying anything if I'm one of the Trump bros. I'm quiet as a mouse right now. Okay, I'm gonna let Daddy do his thing.
Eric just posted that about an hour ago.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You know, again, Aster. Now you see what I'm talking about. That's why it dropped out of the top 25. I don't even think it's in the top 25 anymore. So Cardano 88, you know, Hoskinson is doing his thing. He's not going back to the White House. He basically said, screw the White House. 2029, Clarity Act, you know. He's ripping Brad Garlinghouse, ripping him to shreds. I might as well say, ripping him to shreds. Charles is not happy, but at the same time, he's still working on Night. You know, he's still moving the Night situation. I think they got everything settled with that particular airdrop with the decentralized finance protocol, the largest one on ADA, that was refusing to drop the Night tokens. I think they got all that figured out, right? They're going to do another DAO vote. Did you get any information on that?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But I seen he's also pissed off because it's getting ugly because all the XRP army is beating him up, and then he's getting pissed off because between the Night guys and the Cardano guys, they were bumping heads, saying, "Oh, you're going to take it away from us." And he goes, "I wrote this in a paper 10 years ago. Everybody peer reviewed it. We're going to have partner chains." Hello, fly, and now they're all complaining because I guess nobody read the papers. Developers that didn't read papers. Hello,
I mean,
can't make it up.
No one reads, you know. You know, a lot of LMFG, you know, we talk about this a lot, you know, especially the fine print. No one reads that shit. So it's unfortunate. Looks like Artemis is going to be coming back, splashing into the Pacific. What is it? They're beginning their journey backwards. So back to the planet. So, you know, let's wish them well. Positive, you know, vibes to the Artemis crew. Hopefully they splash down, you know, properly. Nothing weird happens. And meanwhile, we got B-52s that are departing. RAF Fairford, I think that is, a local video shows loaded B-52 taking off. 7-hour combat flight. LMFG, here we go. Time to put Iran in this. Oh, come on, man. They need to quit this. So B-52s are taking off. So I think we're going to have an invasion, LMFG. Let's see how this goes, guys. We got 7 hours to go, so. Oh, lordy. So we'll look at these post hypotheticals here in a little bit. Bitcoin Cash, $434. Chainlink, $8. Trying to get back to $9. Are you still bullish on Chainlink? I don't know why I'm asking this, because I know you are, but I have to ask you.
100%, man. If you go dive into it and see what's going on, they're rocking and rolling. They're not going anywhere. And you know they're working with Cardano right now. It's not in there yet. I think it's happening. They talked about, what was it? Hoskinson talked about it with the guy from Chainlink last year. He said it's going to take some time, but they're going to get it.
I think that's excellent.
Yeah, big time. Like I say, I tell everybody, it's in the name.
Yeah. Jay says Chainlink, yes.
Hello. Absolutely.
So Jay Thacker says Chainlink, yes, but don't have any. Hey, bro, you got some good opportunities coming up. If our bars, you know, God forbid, if our bars, if Trump goes into Iran, Chainlink is probably going to go down to $5. That's how hard the altcoins are going to get hit if Bitcoin slides all the way to 50. So you're probably going to get a good buying opportunity, barring anything that may happen overseas. So let's just pray that nuclear plant that we saw in that video doesn't get smacked. War crime city right there. So $5 Chainlink, are you buying LMFG? I'm definitely going to buy some more at $5.
Yeah, I would put the flag out to everybody, to all my family and friends. I got like 20 of us that I send emails to, you know. And now I already got 4 laptops here. Now my born buddy's like, I'm done with this shit. I'm just gonna get you a laptop and I'll send it to you. I'm like, okay. So after this space, I gotta tell him the laptop I want.
There you go. Cash in, man.
$1,000 worth of laptops here. I should probably set up some friggin' mining, huh?
Yeah, why not, bro? You know, get you, you know. You might ought to get you one of those bit miners. I don't know. I seen a Bitcoin miner the other day. They're not as loud as I thought they were. And like mine, when I had mine running, it sounded like a fucking C-130 that was in my room. It was crazy. So they're a whole lot better now. They're quieter. They don't use as much energy. They still pull, you know, pretty well. but not as much as back in the early days of the Bitcoin miners, ant miners.
And I just seen, I think it was yesterday, a small miner just closed the block.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're powerful, bro.
A mining pool.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a lottery ticket, and this small miner got it, and he got his 3 point whatever Bitcoin. Rock and roll.
Well, if he was in a pool, that's supposed to be spread out within the pool. Like if you're in a pool, and you see what I'm saying?
Said it's 3. Yeah, they said it's 3, but he only got a percentage of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Because see, I did it both ways. No, I'm about to explain it to you because see, I mined for years. You can solo mine. It takes fucking forever, depending on your rig system. But if you're just solo mining with one miner, good luck. It's a lottery. It's literally a lottery. But if you hit, it's all yours. It's all yours. Now, if you're in a pool, let's say you got a couple of miners that are attached to a pool, that pool collectively has to share that block reward. So yeah, it depends on how many miners are in that pool.
Makes sense on 100.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But I do encourage it if you especially the newer ones. They're very powerful. They're smaller. The pool is less, and they generate less heat. To be and you can. I water cooled mine. I disassembled mine, and I took the actual heat sinks out, and I put water cores in mine, and they hashed harder. They ran cooler, and I had a great time. But electricity went up every year, and it's like this wasn't feasible. So I transitioned, which a lot of miners are right now, especially if they're not pulling in a lot. So a Monero, $328 up across the board. That prophecy thing, doing quite well. Zcash, not so much. It tried to push LMFG. It's trying to push back up to $300. It may get back up to $300, but I don't think these two OG prophecy protocols are not going anywhere. But I don't think they're going to pump up to $700. I don't think they're going to get any. The Zcash thing, they had a lot of pumping. And then the dev team just collapsed. I'm still trying to get my head around that collapse that happened in Zcash within that dev team. That was some crazy shit that happened there. And I'm still trying to, what the hell happened? Why? And then you had Arthur Hayes when he pulled out, it was a wrap. It was a complete wrap. So Monero, just doing their thing. We're going to wrap it up with Canton at 14 cents. If you don't know about Canton, get to know about Canton. Post language, that thing is probably going to erupt way past $5. So I would put that on my watch list if I were you guys. It's a pretty good price right now at 14 cents. But put it in your watch list, do your research. Let me know what you think about it, because I think you're going to be very happy when you actually dive into Canton and look at that white paper, look at the partnerships, look at where they're going, what they're going to be facilitating. 14 cents, LMFG, that's a hell of a buy for number 17. And I'll just leave it at that. Do your research on that, guys. And Litecoin, $53. We'll sum it up with Hedera, which is a great, huge disappointment as far as I'm concerned. 8 cents, and AVAX at $8. And we'll just ram that. LMFG, speaking of the Zcash thing, can you explain? Do you understand the story, right?
Yeah, there was a fight between the devs, right?
Ugly. It was nasty. Now, from what I know, and again, hand clap to the market. It's not all bad. From what I know, and they kind of splintered off and they're doing their own thing. I haven't seen any other platform that no announcements, but apparently the core splintered off, and they're going to be doing their own thing. This Zcash is not going anywhere. The protocol is not going anywhere, right? I think they have the wallet too. But I don't know about any future updates, upgrades, marketing, which, you don't need marketing for this, but I don't know. It's just really sad. I remember when they first launched this. I'm an OG, so I remember XMR, Zcash, Dash, all these early ones, man. What is the other one? Starts with a V, Verge. A lot of people are like, what is Verge? Yeah. You OGers know. I seen a guy buy a car with Verge coin. And you're probably like, what is he talking about? Yeah. Cryptos have been around for a long time. You got a lot of people that are coming in right now, but Crypto's been around for, am I lying, LMFG? You talked about this a lot too, you know, a couple of years ago, how crypto is not as new as people may think. You know, it has some age to it. It's actually evolving. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, if you look it up, it's even ancient, I believe.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
So,
This is not a conspiracy. It's ancient, you know, the basis of it. So let's go ahead and move. We're going to slide over to some breaking news with the stock market. So LMFG, this is what we're looking at, brother. You talked about this earlier. S&P down almost 30 points. Dow Jones almost down 200. NASDAQ is actually moving downwards as well, almost 200 points as well, down. Mag 7, I think the biggest, well, we're not even going to talk about that because Tesla's okay. It's going to be okay. Apple down almost 3%. Microsoft is getting a lot of flag today. Has some issues on Artemis with the Microsoft. And by the way, I didn't even know Microsoft is the principal operating system on Artemis. Is it operating the toilet? Is it in control of the toilet? I don't know. I don't know, man. Jay says U.S. stock market will crash more. I think so too, Jay. Futures aren't looking too well, but you know this can be adjusted. I remember last week the Nikkei was down almost 1,900 points. The Nikkei is crazy. Fluctuations there, crazy. Where this goes, I don't know. We're still waiting on. You know, we have B52s that are launching. That not are launching, but they're taking off. So they just don't release that type of you know, weight and you know, war machinery just for, you know, doing Passovers and just, you know, just for the shits and giggles. Let's go ahead and, you know, fire off some B-52s just for the hell of it. Nah, that's not how it happens.
Got an hour and a half.
Absolutely.
2 hours, right before the stock market closes. Once this news gets out, it's probably not because they just put that out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's perfect timing if you really think about it. Perfect time. By the time it you know, closes in another hour or two, those B-52s will be in position. So, you know, are they going to really bomb those bridges? You've seen those people that are basically human shields. If they bomb those bridges and those innocent people are unalived, I think it sets some things in motions. A lot of things are going to be set in motion, and there's no stop switch for that after that point. That's the point of no return. And I just hope Trump's ready for the outcome. I don't think we are as citizens. You want to know something? Yesterday, they fired up the disaster sirens for the first time in I think about 4 years in my location. And I was sitting there listening to those sirens go off, and I hadn't heard those in some years, almost 10 years since I heard them, you know, fire off the horns. And I was listening to it. I'm like, man, this is surreal. This is so surreal. Those are fucking disaster sirens going off right now. They're testing them. You know, these are some extraordinary times, man. WTI is $114, guys. Brent oil is trying to catch up to it as well. I think WTI was at 115, so we did get a little reduction. But LMFG oil is starting to skyrocket already. If you can use that for a barometer to the things that are to come, with Brent almost catching up with WTI at 113. Bond market is spiking as well. 10-year, 0.16% upward. 30-year, almost 5%. Right, so we're looking at almost a half percentage upward with the 30-year. LMFG. This is not good, brother. I think if we do go in, this is another thing that a lot of people aren't talking about that affects buyership within the markets as well. That 10-year gets up over 5. If we get 10-year, rates over 5, and we're talking 2%, trajectory upward with 10-year, it's a wrap for mortgage rates and refinancements and loans and things of that nature in this country. It's going to send everything spiraling downward. And this is where we're headed. So, and if you think people are going to actually hold their portfolios during those moments, no, they're going to cash out because they're going to need a lifeline. They're going to cash their stocks out because they're going to need a lifeline. You understand? So, and a lot of people's 401ks are already drained. So we need to put our two palms together and we need to pray to whatever God you pray to, or however you praise. Send those positive vibes, and hopefully we can get some calmer heads that we'll start thinking about this properly, because this is not looking very good, guys. So I want to actually move over to this as well. It's going to continue to monitor because it is what it is. This is big time news. Now, the crypto market outlook, as Trump says, Iran proposal is not enough to avert strike. So this is what came out today. So obviously LMFG, Trump's ready to go. He's ready to do what he's going to do. He's probably going to give Israel the nod in a couple hours. And we're going to go gung ho into this. We're going all the way. This is not Venezuela. It's not going to be a 2 or 3 day thing. It's going to be a long-term thing. And I think we're well over 40 billion when it comes to the cost of this. We're headed towards a $100 billion war already, very, very quickly. So this is what we're talking about now. A hypothetical when it comes to what's going on. I want to get into these hypotheticals because in a highly speculative situation, it all depends on the duration LMFG and how long Trump wants to actually take this. And I don't know what type of sign he's going to need to actually pull back. But I think once you go into this, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, LMFG, you got to go all the way, right? Or you can't just go into this like we see this, unfortunately, the inevitability of it in the way it's going to happen. You can't just go in for a couple of days and pull out. Once you're in this, you're in it. So the duration factors are going to weigh heavy on crypto market activity as well. Okay. Welcome to the show, Benji. So wouldn't you agree duration is very, very key here? If this turns into a 6-month deal, can the market absorb that? 6 months? I don't know, brother.
It'll be ugly as hell. And I don't like that these bombers taking off. And I hope he's just really shaking the tree and scaring the shit out of him. And somebody says something that from Iran. I don't know. Not good, man.
No, it's not. It's not.
Unless they're going to hit something where there's no people. I don't know what he's going to do. It's stupid. Just to fly them things over there, it costs millions of dollars, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're already pretty close to half. 100 billion. Pretty close. So we're halfway there. And that was just with, the bombings, all the saber rattling, all the drones, I think a lot of that had, the bulk of that cost was the THAAD system and the Patriot missiles. And then you add in the other residuals. Those THAAD missile systems are expensive. The Patriot missile batteries are very expensive. Every single missile. There are $1 million? I think the THAAD system, each missile, $1 million.
Millions of dollars pop.
What the hell are we doing? And then they're throwing $30,000 drones at them, and it takes 5 or 6 THAAD systems, and they miss them because the drones are so slow. This is very embarrassing. And I heard a senator say we're basically using 1940s tactics in a modern war, and Iran is using modern warfare right now. We're throwing 1940s tactics at it. This is why we're losing. Oh my God, we need to pull out. So let's get into this. We're talking about crypto market activity post ground invasion of Iran. This is what this is what you need to get ready for. This is some true knowledge here. I'm not going to BS and tell you everything is going to be okay. If we go in, this market's cratering. I wouldn't, you're going to see a huge risk off, sell off activity. Okay. Now, the historical patterns give us a little leeway, a little vision into what may occur, but I just don't like the Russia-Ukraine, actual comparison, because we're just talking about an 8% drop in BTC during that particular situation. I think we're going to double that. Probably, well, I'll pull it back. That may be too dramatic. I'll say add 2% to that. I'll go ahead and say 10% drop. I just think it's going to be way more than that. Okay. Now, here are a couple of bullet points I want you guys to take into consideration, including that Russia-Ukraine situation, how Bitcoin was affected by that. It did come back, but these are some things that I think you can actually ×2 or ×5 the effects of if we do go into Iran, which I think we're going to go into Iran. Now, obviously risk off, sell off activity, that's going to occur. Now, you're going to expect short-term negativity and volatility as well, but I think it's going to be longer depending on the duration. So if we go 6 months, expect this particular attitude to be expedited, probably into 2027 LMFG, which is crazy. With the potential of a quick recovery, obviously, as we've seen during the Russian-Ukraine invasion. Pretty quick recovery, LMFG. But this also actually depends on the duration and the involvement levels of Israel and the US, because we don't know who's leading this. Everybody has a theory, but it's going to spike oil prices. It's already doing it, and it's going to be a massive global fallout of this. Everybody's crying already. We got B-52s already in the air, so it's going to happen. Now, here we go. Initial reactions. We're talking post ground. We're on the ground. Everything is going. Initial reaction is going to be last days and weeks. Who knows the duration? Geopolitical shocks includes risk aversion. Investors are going to be selling risky assets like crazy, including crypto for cash and liquidity. Now, here's some examples. The Russia-Ukraine invasion back in 2022, BTC dropped, and you guys know 8% within hours. You're talking about a flash. Do you remember that, LMFG? Flash crash. 8%. Boom.
Yep.
We hit the ground. I mean, before you know it, we were 8% down. This is how quick this happened. Now, you did have the ETF vehicles that kicked in. A lot of people put in their orders. A lot of Michael Saylor bought a lot of that dip as well. So I think that was part of that recovery. It wasn't retail, right? Retail was running for the hills. The smaller whales were running for the hills because they were losing their shit. They bought at the top. The institutions could not hold the Bitcoin during that drop. All they could do was buy the dip, and they brought it back. Do they have the money to do that this time? Because you could see probably a double. You could times two that. We don't know what this is going to look like because this is different. We're talking about destabilizing the entire region, and that region just happens to be the linchpin of our markets, LMFG. This is different. So, full crypto market cap evaporation. You guys saw that. 160 billion was completely wiped out in a single day. I think we're going to see more, LMFG. That's small change compared to what we could possibly see if this thing goes full retard. I'm not joking. If President Trump goes full retard on us, we're probably going to see worse than that. And I think we're going to have, so you have the utility demand plus digital gold narrative. That actually helped the situation. Plus ETF vehicles, institutions, Michael Saylor, all those big guys, right? They brought Bitcoin back up. Can they do it again? Do they have some fuel in the tank to do this again? Because we may need them to do it again, right? Now, the recent Iran-Israel strikes and the escalations, we're talking between 2024 and 2026, right? This was sharp, and it did, we're talking the initials, right? Right after, you remember that Trump had negotiations going in, then Israel just sneak attacked Iran. They just kind of just start lobbing those missiles. And that's what pissed Iran off. It's like, okay, we're in the middle of negotiations and you kill our Ayatollah. What is going on? You saw a 6% reduction in price within 45 minutes after those bombs went off, LMFG. So $128 billion erased during the initial bombing of Iran, during those negotiations, right? We did get some stabilization, right? And the volatility was contained then. But that was a brief situation because you had a little ceasefire after that. All hell is broke loose right now. But LMFG, your take so far, and just specifically the actual initial attack and how that dropped, Bitcoin 6% within 45 minutes. And a lot of people, I remember I used to tell people, Bitcoin moves slow, a lot of money. But if something really terrible happens, it'll start moving like a shitcoin. And this is what we saw in 2022 with 8% reduction within an hour and then 6% within 45 minutes. I think we have a massive reduction in Bitcoin price coming up this week, something we've never seen before. What's your take so far on this?
Well, these bombs drop. I don't know. I can't see him going after these bridges and the power plants. Why the B-52s? I have a feeling they see something going on. They may be trying to dig into the reactors where they blew that up last time, and he just throws another bomb in there. I don't know. But just think about it. Just 60 grand is 12%.
Right.
So that would be easy. I think that if he hits one of these power plants or something and kills a whole shitload of people, it's going to get ugly. Big time.
But we're going to see a drop in Bitcoin, and a lot of people, now I've seen Bitcoin at low prices. I was an early day guy, so I've seen it, below 1,000 before, way low. So it's something I've seen before, but those are different times. It was a baby. We're talking about dropping from where we're at now to like 48. It's very possible, and that's what the ETF floor. That's what all this support. So what do you think those ETF managers, what do you think BlackRock is going to wake up to $48,000 Bitcoin? Michael Saylor is probably going to lose his shit. I think, that trigger doesn't kick in. The strategy's trigger kicks in at what, 8,500? I believe it's 8,500 or something like that.
Yeah, that's what he said, but I think it'll be before that.
You don't believe that? I don't believe that shit either. I think that was BS. Who sets it that low? Only a moron would do that. But we could be wrong. I could be wrong. It could be the truth, and that would be amazingly insane. So a full ground invasion would be way much bigger than these two scenarios that we were just talking about. Okay. And here's some of the factors that makes it extraordinarily larger than the Russia-Ukraine invasion. And then the initial bombings of Iran. Oil shock is one of them. Broader Middle East risk when it comes to all the tech. We're talking about the Mag 7 tech. Amazon, you have Tesla there. They even threatened to bomb one of Amazon's, data centers. And I seen a fucking picture. It's huge. It's enormous. And I didn't even know that all the tech companies were set up like that. This is new to me. I don't understand why they're so concentrated in the area that they're in, but they are. I don't know if it's because of taxes or whatever. This is what's happening. It only takes one 20-ton warhead, and all of that is done. All of it. This is what's at stake, LMFG. Not only the oil. We're talking about tech. We're talking about complete disruption in data centers activities. And God forbid they cut the cable. We talked about the Wi-Fi cable. They did threaten to do that. This is getting out of hand. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now, all of that is going to amplify the initial dump across not only BTC, Ethereum, and all the alts as well. The whole bag is going to come crashing down. And then you have to factor in the herd behavior, the lemming factor. Fear and panic selling is going to ensue after that. So this is what we have going on this week. There's a lot of fear and there's a lot of uncertainty in the pipeline, LMFG. And once that actual valve is open, where does it go? Or do we pull out at the last minute and everything is all good? I don't think Iran wants to shake hands, brother. In fact, I'm looking at some rhetoric right now, and they're still saying, bring it on. We're waiting. Where are you? It's not good. Now, here's the long-term effect of a post-ground invasion on the crypto market. It's kind of mixed, but let me throw this at you, LMFG. We do have some resilience on deck when it comes to the history. Crypto's been pretty strong through a lot of shit. DeFi is still growing, right? TVL is north of 95 billion globally. I was just looking at DeFi Llama earlier, and I look at another outfit too, just to compare the two metrics. They're fairly close, right? So globally, DeFi it seems to be resistant to what's going on. Now, I don't know, post ground invasion, I don't know how the global TVL is going to look. It may take a huge dive, right? But as far as what I'm looking at now, it's doing quite well. I think it was up almost 2%. So decentralized finance is still beaming right now, but it's not connecting. It's kind of decoupled, LMFG. I don't know if you've seen these metrics. It's decoupling, right? Because everybody's running to those safe harbors, those yield platforms, consolidating into stablecoin. Stablecoin activity when it comes to DeFi infrastructure is like crazy right now. That's the safe harbor, right? Some people are going into Bitcoin, but I think a lot of people are scared of Bitcoin. You have people going into metals too as well, moving out of the stock market, going into metals. A lot of people moving to copper. That's why copper is still over $5, which is crazy. Here are the long-term effects. We looked at the short-term initial situation, but let's see. These are 3 bullet points I want you guys, take into consideration. Sometimes rebounds within certain crypto sectors, they happen really fast. And then we're going to bring in the Ukraine situation. We went up 27% within a month after that crisis ensued. Okay. That's pretty decent coming out from that low with a 6% drop. 8% drop in Bitcoin. So plus 27% LMFG. So we do know crypto is very resilient. We do know crypto recovers quickly, but it's still coupled to the stocks. It's still coupled to tech, right? So if all that moves down, this particular rebound could have tethered resistance a little bit more than before. Wouldn't you say? This is a little more heavy. This is different. This is a different beast here, what we're talking about now, what's going on in the Middle East here. Very different monster here. So we're talking 27%, upwards. And it only took 30 days to do that, to dig us out of that hole, with the Russia-Ukraine situation. I don't think that's enough for this time. Here's another situation I want you to think about. The first one, just resilience alone. Crypto's a resilient factor, the appeal. BTC and ETH can act as partial digital gold. And we're talking about bifurcated digital gold factor here, LMFG. Did you ever think that could be tethered? Because I've always looked at BTC as digital gold. But these particular, scenarios are pairing ETH and BTC as a collective digital gold harbor going forward. Or is that even feasible? Because I could see people losing some money here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. Not at all.
I didn't think you would. Yeah. It's
not
absurd.
At this time. With this, we have no clue what's happening. And afterwards, the space, I'll be blasting out an email letting them know that the B-52s are on the way.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do, but pay attention.
You gotta laugh, bro. I mean, I'm trying to laugh without crying. This is crazy what's going on.
I hope that something happens, like he just rebombs the nuclear sites and then says, okay, we're pulling all the guys out. Do what you want to do with the strait. But
what does Israel do? They're not going to pull out. Can you imagine if we pulled out, bro? Israel's done.
Got to tell them.
God forbid.
No, I think that'd be perfect. That would be.
Oh God. But dude, Iran is going to let loose. They're going to let loose, bro. That's the thing. This is why I'm thinking we're at the point of no return. We've really stuck our, what? Oh my God. So here we go. I digress, man. Oh my God. So listen, we're talking about oil spiking, stagflation narratives, right? A lot of people are saying this is going to help non-sovereign assets. I don't think so. But this is the consensus. Now, if it triggers equity sell-offs and recession fears, which I think it will, global recession, not just domestic, the crypto correlation that I told you about is going to send the market downward initially. But does it come back like it did in the past? I don't think so. You got a regional conflict that's encompassing Israel, Gaza, India, Pakistan, UAE, Dubai. It's crazy right now. The entire Middle East, guys. You have the Houthis involved, Hezbollah. You have other factors too. You have these little militias that are popping up. It's a shit show. This is probably the mother of all shit shows right now. Bottom line, short-term pain, volatility spikes. In this particular base case, sell the news fear factors, like we always say. Sustained bearish pressure. You probably only going to see this if the conflict drags on and it tanks global growth. So we're circling back to the actual duration factor, LMFG. So welcome to the show. Damn, I had a tongue twister there. Welcome to this show, Cherry 837. LMFG, it's all about duration. This is the consensus I'm saying. If this lasts too long, we're toast. If we can go in there and just wipe it out real quick, and I think a lot of people are going to perish. I think that's bad too as well. But that could be the best scenario for markets. Get it over quick. Shock and awe. Crypto is 24/7, guys. So here's the thing about this. 24/7 trading, it's going to absorb shock faster, way faster than 2022. So we have a maturing institutional base that's added to the mix as well. And that adds floor to Bitcoin. But how long does that last, right? And as far as the clarity in market structure passage, it's basically a mute situation at this point. And I hate to even say that, LMFG, because this is what we were looking for. We were looking for the passage of all this legislation. But even if it went across Donald Trump's desk right now, I don't think he would even sign it because of what's going on right now. I could be wrong. I'll conclude with that. That's pretty much, my post clarity when it comes to post ground invasion. God forbid if that happens. But I don't know. What's your ending take on this, bro? And then the clear deck. Talk to me about the clear deck, because we talk about this a lot. And we already know altcoins stand to benefit from that disproportionately, especially large caps, like XRP, Solana, ADA, Link, LTC, HBAR, Doge, things of that nature. They get a clear path to commodity status, via grandfather clauses and maturity certifications. This is going to be huge. It removes legal overhangs, kind of like what XRP went through for years, right? Accelerates spot ETF filings and products as well. Opens institutional custody trading, These are the great things about that. Overall, tailwinds are going to be institutional allocators that are going to be running freely, right? They're going to have clear rules. This is what the Clarity Act is going to bring. Are we going to get that, LMFG? Your take, man.
Yeah, again, everybody talks about the stable coins and the CFTC and the SEC to straighten it out commodities, but nobody's talking about the amendment saying that Trump's immediate family has to not have anything to do with crypto. That is so huge with them. So I don't know.
Did they strike that out? Is that still in the market?
I haven't heard anything. And there's, I believe, 137 amendments on this thing. And people only talking about 2 things on it. And I think that's why Armstrong is like, screw this. It's not just, granted, that's huge with the yield, but I think it's a lot more than that. And if those are in there, again, is he going to veto it, or is he going to tell the kids, dump everything? They dump everything. They got millions, or can they give it to their cousins, or they have to start more companies? And hell, they already got a couple hundred companies. So I don't know how that works.
Man, this is crazy. It's bizarre, bro. It really is. I had a couple of breaking reports here. Breaking news. B2 bombers spotted on the move. So we have the B-52s and the B2s. You don't scramble B2s for no reason, just for, shits and giggles. You just don't do that. So we have B2 bombers.
It takes, 7 hours to get over there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Over $1 million. They got escorts. They got the radar plane up above it. That's huge to move one of them things like that.
Yeah, especially that B2. You know what the B2 has?
Millions of dollars just to fly it over there and back.
Absolutely. And you already know what's on that B2. Bunker busters. Wow.
The only reason why they need that thing because of the payload.
Absolutely. This is what Iran just reported. A lot of shit is. I think it's happening. Iran says it holds 15,000 missiles and 45,000 of those drones, bro, that we can't shoot down. Well, they have a hard time shooting them down. And they launch these things in waves and like 20 or 30 of them at one time. Boy, it's about to get dirty. And this is something that kind of rattled me too. Now, you had a breaking report too out of leading reports that some military commanders, listen to this. And I've seen a couple of these videos, and I've seen a couple of, generals that have been talking about this. I want you to hear this. This is something that I thought I would never hear in my lifetime as an American. Some military commanders may be preparing to defy unlawful orders that disobey the United States Constitution, according to retired Lieutenant General Mark Hartling per MSN Now. And I've actually heard him talk on this retired Lieutenant General. LMFG, I thought that's something I thought I would never hear in my lifetime as an American. We are in some very strange times right now, brother. That just dropped too, along with the B2 story. Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, you know, I don't even want to say the C word. LMFG. It's not going to look too pretty in this country if that happens. I don't see how that, you know, happens, and it's non-violent. You see what I'm saying? Here's an IRGC Missile Command actual message here. We announced the end of all targeted restrictions. This is what I was afraid of, LMFG. We will strike infrastructure in a manner that will deprive the United States and regional countries of oil, gas, resources for years to come. This is not good. Orders have been transmitted to local missile bases and operations will begin immediately, unquote. So they're seeing the B2s. They already know they're coming. The B-52s, you know, or the birds are in the air. They know it. So they're already saying there are no restrictions right now when it comes to the Iranian military. They're not holding back, bro. So buckle up. Buckle up. This shit is about to happen. I don't know, brother. So it is what it is. I want to get into this before we get over. I think we're going to go ahead and. Oh yeah, this is some good news. Let's get into some good news, man. It's getting really crazy with the news right now. So I was telling you about this earlier. The crypto safe harbor framework reaches White House. So this is a done deal. Trump just needs to sign it, right? Clarity Act is right behind this, guys. By the way, just in case you didn't know. Now, what is this? Now, this was previously reported recently last week. Atkins first detailed plans for the framework earlier this month. The proposal outlines three-part framework designed to address how crypto projects raise capital and transition out of the securities classification. This is pretty big, LMFG, because we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago about raising funds, you know, fundraising when it comes to these platforms, these decentralized finance platforms, these new deployments, right? The way the devs are going to have to move under the new language. This is interesting that this is kind of ahead of the Clarity Act. Is this a shocker to you that this particular language is ahead of the Clarity Act? I would have loved for this to be embedded within the market structure bill, but apparently this has been plucked and is being expedited. This probably is probably going to get signed before any of the other language. And let me read this one component. One component introduces a startup exemption, allowing early stage ventures to raise funds over a 4-year period, LMFG, with lighter disclosure requirements. I really don't like that, but it is what it is. Another creates a fundraising exemption that permits issuers to raise capital within a 12-month window while maintaining access to other registrations exemptions under the federal securities law. So there's a pathway for devs to fundraise. And it also allows them for exemptions and to pull back from any type of positions they were promised prior to the fundraising event. What you take on this, bro? I mean, we're finally getting some language, but I didn't expect this. I didn't think this was going to lead, you know, the carriage. But it's decent, right? I mean, we do need some clarity when it comes to fundraising, especially with these startups. 2 different types of exemptions. So, you know, what's your take? If you're a dev, are you happy about this?
Right. Well, I would say that the honest guys, yeah. If you're building something to be a scam, no.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going in as a security, from my understanding.
Absolutely.
So you have to have all your ducks in a row, put in the permits, blah, blah, get your license, whatever it is. And then from there, you got 4 years to become decentralized. Otherwise, you're pegged as a security.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I guess it could be good because you're going to get rid of your scams.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to have guys that are dedicated building something.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's a start, right? You know, I don't like the exemptions though, because like you said, it's kind of a loophole for a scammer. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, anything that gets passed, dude, over the next few years, it'll probably next 8 years, there's always going to be amendments, or just come up with a new bill that's going to knock something out of one of the old bills, you know. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Did you hear that?
So this is that new. So.
Yeah. I tell you, bro, they got some reports of earthquakes happening in Iran. Are we using other weaponry? Are we using some, declassified weapon now? It's been 4 earthquakes today. Oh my God. Oh man. Here's another report about the B-52 bomber. So they're taking off from UK. They got 6 hours, so maybe 4 more hours, and they're going to be in striking distance. So what time is it now? Okay, cool. Okay, so let's see.
And it is the B-52s, not the B-2s?
No, it's the B-52s. No, you have B-2s just took off too. So you have B-52s and the B-2s.
The B-52s, guys, those things are crazy.
Yeah.
Like 70, 80,000 pound payload or something.
Bro, here you go right here. There you go right there. This is what we got. We got those in the air, and we got the B-2s, the stealth bombers, and they're carrying the big mama whammers. Oh, here we go, man. Here we go.
Yeah,
So
the B-2s only have about half the payload, but they can handle the big the busters, whatever they're called.
But think about it. You know, you're carrying bunker busters. That's all. You don't need a lot of those.
That's it, the bunker busters.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of those. Let's see, the B-52s, we got J-Dams, you know, they carry other ones too. They carry dumb bombs too, what they call dumb bombs, but they could carry nuclear payload too as well. And I read I hope this is not right, but I heard an actual, I read an actual article about Trump maybe thinking about using the N-word, if you know what I'm talking about. Maybe using one of those. He's considering it. That would be the worst decision any president has ever made in the last 2 to 3 decades. Because I think that solidifies, that pretty much puts a cap on everything. And we go down from there. You're talking about nuclear fallout for years. Complete decimation of a large infrastructure. Everything shuts down. It's you know, God forbid. So, let's see, we're going to do the giveaway and we're going to get out of here. Latest news that I'm seeing that's dropping here. From what I got here, I was going to tell you about the Solana situation. They bought Dark Lake Labs, is what Solana did. This is what I was going to show you guys before we got out of here. And Solana's trying to really one up on the privacy protocol. We were talking about that earlier. Solana privacy narrative sharpens as Sol Strategies buys Dark Lake Labs. Do you know about Dark Lake Labs? LMFG, ever heard about these guys?
No, I haven't.
Well, they acquired them. It's a native ZK shop, is what it is, which is, you know, very smart buy. They only paid $1.2 million. I think that video is still going. The B-52, let me shut that down. I think it was a smart buy, you know. The Zygate Zero Knowledge system moves in-house. So they're bringing it into the Solana fold and targeting private execution and mail protection on Solana. Pretty cool. Cherry says 2026 will be a disaster. It's really starting to look that way. Chari. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. I have a hard time pronouncing that. It's really starting to look that way. Sol Strategies has entered a definitive agreement to acquire the assets of Dark Lake Labs, a Solana native zero knowledge privacy startup. $1.2 million. Transaction split between $200,000 in cash and $1 million in common shares. Common shares, that's interesting. Bringing Dark Lake's Zeki system directly under its control. The deal announced on April the 7th, 2026. Will fold Dark Lake's core engineering and research team into Solana Strategies. Solana-focused platform as the firm leans harder into privacy, preserving execution and infrastructure. LMFG, I think this was a smart buy. What's your take on that, bro? You know, Solana's trying to catch up a little bit, trying to change the narrative. What's your take?
Right, and privacy is probably one of the biggest things that everybody's talking about these days.
Mm-hmm. No, you betcha.
Stay Hoskinson released midnight.
You betcha.
Everybody's like, "Oh, what What is this?"
You betcha.
Yeah, smart move for them. Let's see what comes out with it. You know,
yeah.
Get it integrated and let them do the upgrade, and let's check it out.
Yeah, let's wait. It's a wait and see approach, right? Let's see what's going on with that. You know, I think it's pretty interesting, and I think it's very smart too as well. We're going to pivot to the giveaway, and let me make sure I got everybody on this wheel. Give away some Sol, and you know, put the two palms together and pray that we don't get a freaking nuclear war outbreak this week. God forbid, because it's getting a little crazy. We got a lot of birds in the air, and we're not talking about, you know, small chips. We got a lot of money flying in the air right now out of the UK. And I don't think they're just going to do a show, do some loop-de-loops and put some, you know, contrails in there and do an air show. We're not just doing an air show here. As LMFG said earlier, we're not just doing this just for fun. Shit is getting real. So I gotta populate the wheel here, guys. Let me go ahead and get this wheel repopulated. Give me just a sec.
And there goes the market, already 360 points down.
Really? No, that's not good. Okay, so I got a lot of people I need to put on. I got some people that just comment. Hopefully you guys, hopefully you love the video as well. Let me get everybody on this wheel and then we're gonna spin it. I gotta add a lot more to the wheel. Give me a second. I think that just about did it. I think we're ready to go. All right, so let's go ahead and get the wheel on, get this on the wheel. Let's go ahead and spin it, guys. We're gonna get 3 and we'll get out of here. So it looks like it's going to be, what is it? Sespisonia, I think that is. Well, it's a close one between a dip triple. Okay, so Sespisonia, that was a really close one. That's going to be the first winner, Sespiasona. So I'm probably, how would you pronounce that, LMFG? Sespisonia, I don't know. I'll give it to you, brother. I don't know. But you know who you are and you know what you need to do. Send me that soul address and I'm going to give you your prize because you are the first winner. And again, hand clap to you.
I would just say Supaisonia.
Supaisonia. Okay, let's go with that. Let's go with that. We need 2 more. It's a good spin right there. I'm gonna call Raul DJ1SK. I don't know. I think I called it too early. It's gonna be La La Land. Yo, sorry, Raul. I called you too early, bro. La La Land 786. You are the second winner. All I need is that soul address, and we'll get that prize to you ASAP. Let's go. We need 1 more. Let's see if I can call this one. I'm gonna call Wanderer 8822. I think That's why I think it's gonna hit. And I was wrong again. It's gonna be Sammy 00171. I didn't do so well on the calls today, man. That sucks, man. So let's go ahead and get the roll call. So we got the roll call here. Cespesonia, hand clap to you. That's going to be the number one. La La Land 786 is going to be the number 2 winner. Hand clap to you. And to round it up, we got Sammy 00171. Hand clap to the group. And all you have to do is become a member and interact with the member content. I do member videos and shorts every week. As soon as you see a new one pop up, go ahead and interact with that. Let me know what you think about the content. And then that particular interaction will get you on the wheel. And it'll give you a chance to win on every live stream every week. Okay. And we'll just spin this sucker. So again, hand clap to the guy, to the member groups as well. LMFG, I'm not seeing. Let me do a little news check real quick. You know what, Google, this is the thing. Google came out with this new quantum threat and saying that it's not 20 years. You got 2 years to get ready for it. A lot of people coming out and basically slapping Google in the face for that paper and saying, don't worry about it. You know, they're saying this is why, you know, Google can't steal your BTC. And the bad actors are still decades behind. I may do a little report on that because they're saying, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Google, don't worry about the Google paper. The quantum threat is decades away. Google did some hard crunching with their AI. They may have a quantum chip going. I don't know. Who knows? They're saying it's 2 years away, and they're telling people to get their protocols. You know, telling the Bitcoin Foundation, get your shit together. You're 2 years away from disaster. You know, what's your take on that, bro? Because we got a retort here, and this group is saying Google is basically shaking the nest for no reason at all. We're still decades away from that type of attack. What's your take on that, bro? We don't know what to believe now. 2 years, 20 years?
Yeah, I believe the machines will be running, but is it going to be a waste of time to run one of these machines? You're talking huge amount of power.
Yeah.
Cooling, all of that. It's going to be a huge bill. So are you going to waste that time? Because it's going to take even a quantum computer a year to figure it out. You know, it will get it, but it's going to take him maybe 6 months. I don't know, but still, run one of those things 24/7 for 6 months just to go break Bitcoin. I don't buy it. And if I'm not positive, it may be the same article, but didn't it toot the horn of Algorand and Cardano, saying they're most quantum resistant?
Yeah, well, because I think it was because I think the faster your chain is, the more vulnerable it is. I think that's what I read. That's the consensus, right? That's from what I got from it. Like if your chain, you know, the faster, you know, the quicker everything happens. You know, Solana's not that fast. I mean, I'm sorry, Cardano pretty slow, right? Which is not a bad thing now that we know about oversight.
Right. I've been saying that for years. Everybody's worried about transactions per second. If you're at a point of sale, yes. Otherwise, no.
Yeah.
If it takes 5 seconds, oh well. Even 10 seconds, you know. If you're using for gaming, okay, you need a Solana, right? Or you know, and Cardano pulled that off with the Hyper thing, right?
Right.
So they were playing Doom on it. So it's crazy.
There's that earthquake that happened just recently. You see the truck shaking? That's in Iran. My bad, look at the tankers, man. You see how they're shaking right there? I said just had an earthquake up there, bro. Crazy. Frame time. I see you, Benji. Yeah, post quantum protection. So this is what we're looking at, guys. So, you know, pray for the innocent. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, LMFG, I'm with you on that. And that's what I got from it, man. The faster, the more vulnerable your chain is. So slow is better, right? I don't know, but I do know the ADA is looking pretty good for a lot of, especially for oversight. I read that paper about the oversight and how the government prefers a more moderate running blockchain. It's easier for oversight, easier to monitor versus something that's just blazing fast. It's a whole lot harder for current government systems to actually provide oversight. They're going to have to learn how to do that at an expedited rate. So I think if I am a regulator, I want something that I can pay. So I want something that's not so freaking fast so we can figure out how to do this down the road. I don't know. What's your take on that? Because speed is a big thing. I remember we had a discussion a couple of years ago about ADA speed compared to Solana, and everybody was like, ADA is trash because it's slow. I don't think, I don't think that's a good assessment. I think the speed really doesn't matter going forward. When you think about a lot of these chains, where they're headed, payments and RWAs, it's more about security and privacy. The speed is not so much of a factor anymore.
At 100, privacy and security.
Yeah.
That's the biggest on it, especially when you get RWAs and you're going to start talking about deeds. You know what I mean? No matter anything really.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You got an NFT. It's I don't care, $1 million diamond bracelet, right?
Yeah.
Somebody knows you got it.
You want
need that
again?
privacy.
No, you're right. Speed and privacy, bro. I mean, I'm sorry, not speed, but security and privacy. That's what I'm saying.
Privacy. You don't need, like I said, you don't need these blazing fast things unless you're doing point of sale.
Yeah.
That's it. Everything else, just think about money transferring where it's going to go. I don't care if it goes in 20 minutes. It's still better than a week.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I totally agree.
Love the technology. It's tremendous. And I think so much is going to change over the next 5 to 10 years. Wow. Big time.
Yeah. What's going on, Selmo? He says, what's up, CO? We had the market close on Friday, and then the threats about the war were made on Easter, and then the market pumps yesterday. It's a bull trap. Yeah, man, I've been telling people that, bro. We will dump, and retail is going to get wrecked. Selmo, you are thinking, bro. You are thinking very, very correctively. LMFG, did you see what he wrote? Selmo Fudd down there. Catch that comment because he nailed it. It's a bull trap, and you got a lot of influencers that are telling people to buy. I think that's very irresponsible. Quit doing that to your community. You better tell them the truth, right? It's okay. The truth is better. Guys, be safe. And I'll tell you this, there's some opportunities, no doubt about that, but those opportunities are going to fluctuate. Just make sure if you are DCing, if you are buying something right now, if you're catching a dip, make sure there's a future for that said platform. Make sure the devs are going to be legally compliant with their platforms, their full disclosure, KYC, because it's going to be mandatory under the market structure bill, Clarity Act. Just make sure everything is straight before you put money into these dips. That way, post clarity, post market structure bill, post safe harbor, which is going to get over the president's office probably next week. You're going to be ready to make some money. The platform's not going to disappear. Okay, so just be mindful. And LMFG, you got anything you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Nah, all good, I guess. Just hope this it ain't bad. We'll find out in a few hours, I guess.
Yeah, I think around 5 is when we're, my time, 5 o'clock is when either the fireworks are going to start or, everything is going to calm down. So I'm looking at stocks. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah,
it's not good.
Yeah, it's pushing 400 points down.
It's not good. What's those futures? I don't even want to look at futures. That's crazy. What's the bond market doing? What do we have here? WTI is back up over 115. 10-year went down just a little bit. Yeah, it's not good. So just, play it like you want to play it, but be safe. And don't get scammed, because the scammers are out there too. They're trying to cash out too. So be careful with the links. Be careful who you're listening to, and do your own research. All right, be safe. Have a good one.